Good afternoon, ETT members. Today's video will attempt to address some of the many questions and concerns that we have been receiving over the course of the last couple of weeks from all of you, many of you, regarding TDSP Procedure 734 that of course deals with vaccination disclosure and testing requirements of TDSP employees. Members will recall that in the late summer, the provincial government required all school boards to initiate vaccination disclosure policies and testing policies for their employees. At that time, ETFO consulted with legal counsel on this topic regarding the provincial mandate and sought advice regarding whether such a mandate would be in violation of labour law or other applicable statutes and regulations. Given the severity and the length of the COVID-19 pandemic, the impact of the Delta variant, rising daily case counts, and the demonstrated effectiveness of vaccination in reducing an individual's chance of contracting the virus with a low risk of side effects, it was determined that it is not inappropriate for school boards to request information from staff about their COVID-19 vaccination status and or to implement some form of testing for unvaccinated staff within reasonable limits. Pursuant to requirements under the Occupational Health and Safety Act, school boards as employers must take reasonable steps to maintain a safe working environment for all workers, and this includes measures that will reduce the transmission of COVID-19 in the workplace. We at ETT continue to consult closely with ETFO as more details emerge about the specifics of the TDSP policy in order to ensure that the school board is compliant with its obligations, among other things, requirements in relation to members' privacy. The TDSP has always been required to maintain the privacy of employees in relation to personnel and other sensitive matters. We will be vigilant to ensure that members' rights to privacy continue to be maintained as the board's policy is rolled out. As you're aware, the TDSP policy requires mandatory vaccination by November 1st for all employees. Currently, if an ETT member declines to disclose their vaccination status to the school board or advises the school board that they are unvaccinated, they will be required to undergo regular testing to confirm that they are not suffering from COVID-19. They are also required to participate in an education program on vaccination. In compliance with Ontario's Human Rights Code, the policy does have a provision that allows for an application for an exemption from the policy on either religious or medical grounds. Given that the policy requires full vaccination by November 1st, members seeking an accommodation should not delay in applying for an exemption. Members who are seeking an exemption on religious grounds should contact the TDSP Human Rights Department, while members who are seeking an accommodation on medical grounds should contact their Disability Claims Administrator in Employee Services. If an ETT member refuses to undergo regular testing or to participate in the education program, the board may take additional actions, which may include members being placed on an unpaid leave, for example, or being subject to disciplinary action for failing to follow school board and ministry policies. With the exception of those for whom an exemption has been approved, all employees, as I stated earlier, are expected to be fully vaccinated by November 1st. At this time, we are unaware of what the next steps the board may pursue with members who are neither exempted nor vaccinated, but it is likely that one of three things may happen. Number one, the status quo will continue, namely that members will continue to furnish test results on an ongoing basis. Number two, members will be placed on an involuntary unpaid leave of absence. Or number three, the board may pursue some form of discipline for non-compliance with board and ministry policies. Again, we will continue to monitor the situation in consultation with ETFO to determine next steps as more information becomes available. And we will continue to share such information with you. While I appreciate that these are unprecedented and stressful times for everyone, it is important for us to understand that under current circumstances, employers do have a right to implement these kinds of vaccination policies with certain limitations and restrictions outlined in the Charter of Rights, for example, and for example, the Ontario Human Rights Code. The TDSB, as the employer of ETT members, does have the right to implement Procedure 734 in relation to vaccination requirements. ETT will continue to advocate for our membership and to fulfill our responsibility to provide you with the support, advocacy, and intervention that you require. If you require further support or if you have further questions, please reach out to the executive officer for your school. They will gladly help you with whatever questions you may have. Thanks and have a great weekend.